Speaking of which, I did get access this week to upload some of these videos, so hopefully I'll be able to stick them all up on YouTube for all to see in the coming week or so. But anyway, welcome to what week is it, of the Collab Lab, and
4.
week 4. Gosh, how the time does fly. And so I think this week, just to kind of give a rundown of how I expect this to go. Yeah, Tanner, if you can do the demos, I will do a retro, which I think will be a really good exercise for us this week. And then I think apart from that, we just have to, dish out some issues, but we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get to it. And we're going to approach it sort of discursively is a word I would use to describe what we're going to do. We're just going to see where everyone's at. We're going to see what the state of things are. And we'll move forward, with the consent of all involved to, I guess, however we can get it finished up. But let's start with those demos.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good. Manon, did you want to maybe start and go through the code, or do you need a few minutes to get ready for that? I can play Arvin's demo if that's the case.
No, I think I could go ahead and get started.
Cool.
Sure. Let me share my screen. Let's see. Okay, so I'll start here. So just going through a rundown of the acceptance criteria. Basically, the feature number 6 needed to show an error message if the user tries to submit a new item that has the exact same name as an existing item, and to show an error message if the user tries to submit a new item that has the same name as an existing item, where capitalization has been normalized and punctuation has been removed, and also that the user's original input should be what gets saved in the database. So if I go to the code here, so originally when I approached Tanner, I was saying that my thought process was to create a state set to of existing items set to an array, and in handle submit, push the item into the existing item array. And then after that, to create an if else statement saying that if the item includes or matches the existing item, then alert, send in an alert. Else if the punctuation is also like removed, to also send an alert saying that there would be an error. But after working with Tanner, we refined the process a bit. So the step process basically included in the handle submit function to basically refer to a helper function that checks if the item that the user had entered in is free of punctuation and capitalization. So line 14 references that function. And if I scroll down to the bottom, the function is here, validate new list item, which takes in a list item in a list. And I set a variable called punctuation to like basically all punctuation in the form of regex, and also created an iteration basically going through the list. And that's where I had a hard time here, because when I went through it, it basically gave me like a query snapshot. So I was trying to figure that out. But I also had commented out my thought process in terms of like what it should look like if the capitalization was normalized, and also to replace the punctuation if there was any as a comparison between the existing item and the item that the user is passing in. And then if filtered list is true, then send an error and return false, else return true. And then going back up here, if that function does check out to be true, then it would go through the process of adding everything as usual, the item, the urgency, and the last purchase date. And here I added in that the item already exists as an error if it doesn't check out. So that's currently where I'm at now.
Awesome. Yeah, looks like you're really close. When you start picking this up again, if you have any questions, feel free to ping me on Slack. I might be able to hop on and help you. But nice work. Yeah, it looks like you're super close.
Yeah, I feel that way. It's just that I kept on getting a Firestore error saying that the
Right.
collection was empty. And I don't know, like when I did a poll, I think it was yesterday, everything had begun to work and I only got an error for the function, which allowed me to begin working on the filtered
Mm-hmm.
list down here. But then for some
Mm-hmm.
reason, after like, I don't know, like about an hour or so afterwards, it just didn't work anymore. And I got that original error again. So I don't know what happened.
Mm. Yeah, we can definitely take a look at that too if you find yourself stuck. That is, just so you know, a common pattern I find myself in when I want to make what feels like an easy change. Sometimes I will start working on a project and I think, oh, this is going to take like a day or two, and then like a week goes by, and I'm dealing with a bunch of errors that are completely unrelated to the project I thought I was changing. So this is a small sample of definitely what it feels like to be a developer on a production application, just so you know.
Okay.
But very nice work nonetheless.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay, so in that case, I have Arben's demo here. It's about 5 minutes, so I'm just going to go ahead and share that screen, and we can take a look at the progress that was made there. I don't know what's in this video. I haven't watched it yet. So
Hopefully it's all good stuff.
yeah. Do you hear the audio okay?
I don't hear it at all personally.
I don't hear it.
Oh.
Oh, is this going to be,
Yeah, I wonder, man, I think there is an option to, let me try a new share. Oh, share audio. There's a checkbox. Okay, here we go.
That would do it.
I have to punch in my path. Try it again.
Hello, y'all. Happy Halloween.
Is that working?
I'm just recording the demo
Good.
because I won't be able to make it to the meeting. I actually have to leave before 12, so I apologize. So yeah, let's get to it. So this week, we did issue number 7, which is just to, when the list view is empty, to show a prompt and a button for the user to add their first item. Here's sort of a wireframe to go off of, right? And yeah, so I'm gonna start off by using this already existing list. Where's my app? Here it is. Cool. And just posting it in there, right? So we have 2 items. Then if I just go here, there's still no functionality to delete it on the through the UI. So I'm just gonna do it through the console, right? Just delete the collection. And then we see how it updates here. It shows this prompt. When you click the button, it redirects to the add item page, and we could add another item again. And we go back to view list is there. If we check it, it should also be there. They could delete it. Here it is. Boom. Right. So that's basically what it does. I just thought that I would leave the nav bar as it was, since it has to do with styling, and we still haven't decided on a solid styling, I guess. So yeah, I just left it there for now. The prompt is showing when it's empty. Basic. So now let's dive into some code for this. I had to do some work here on the view list. Created this error message component, which just displays a div. Sorry, empty list prompt, which shows this div with the link styled as a button. And you can look at the styling here on CSS. Also, this prompt to center it, which is probably not the best approach, but MVP. Yeah, so that's about it. And the logic is here in view list. Um, yeah, so I have this render list function, which should be a component because it returns HTML. I'll make those changes after. So as soon as the component mounts, it checks if the length is 0. If it is, render this prompt. Otherwise, just do what we were previously doing here, which is just rendering the list or the error message or the loading. I placed this loading here because when it first renders, it's loading. And if I had it here, it was going to throw an error. I did see the comment that Tanner suggested, and I'll test it out afterwards when I have some time. But for now, it's just checking if it's loading, and if it is, just display this little message. Otherwise, just the render list. Right, if it's not loading, it's kind of weird there. Yeah, why? Yes, it's not the best approach, but I'll take a look at it afterwards. It's kind of weird, I just realized. But yeah, we got that, and yeah. If there's any questions, just let me know. And yeah, happy Halloween.
Okay, cool. So just since Arvin's not here, the comment I had left is regarding this piece of code here. And this is one thing that I really like to see, which is we have a component that does, in this case, a lot of the state management, which is kind of just calling out to use collection here. But then we also have a secondary component that just takes in some props and returns the correct components based on the data that's already been collected for it. And that's a pattern that I like to see because it kind of separates the concern of data collection and management, which in this case is just one line, but it's still nice to see. And then kind of what to do with that data, what components we should return with that data, which is kind of what we're seeing with this render list component. So one of my pieces of feedback was that we could move the loading state into render list as well. So we would have just like 3 cases where we could return whether a loading component, the empty list component, or the populated list component. And then from there, I also suggested we could move render list outside of this view list component and kind of have it live on its own as its own component. And that's a pattern that I really enjoy to see on React components. So yeah, that is issue 7, which is very nice. It looks like we lost Jennifer in the process, though.
Yeah, and then there were 3.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what's going on. I think she might be joining from her phone.
Yeah, she said where she was that the connection was spotty. So she said she would be in and out.
Well,
gotcha. Well, that's okay.
We'll do our best.
I guess we can have a retro. maybe we should try having retros. And Scott, don't allow me to take your thunder here, but since we do only have Manon here, what if we attempt to have an asynchronous retro where we talk about the things that went well and what didn't go well in the Slack thread?
I like the sound of that. We can even populate the board if that's something that people are interested in.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and
I'm open.
I'm glad to hear that. Sorry about that. I should have waited for you to let us know whether that would be okay, Manon.
No, it's fine. I'm kind of rolling with it, to be honest. I'm like, whatever happens. I'll just jump in.
Well, let's try that. I think that's a great idea. We'll do an async retro. I will post a link to the board, unless I already did that. Looks like I didn't, but that's fine. And so we'll conduct it that way. We'll also send out sort of like, we might have to manage the issue assignment basically asynchronously as well is my thing. And I think, it sounds like we need to finish up one of these issues, and the other one seems like it's basically done.
Yeah, DMR is open and it's close to being merged. So it sounds like Arbin just needs to maybe push a revision or two, and then that should be in a mergeable state.
I think it sounds like they're both real close.
Yeah.
So that's great news. I think we'll be able to close them, either this weekend or on Monday, and we should then. I'm gonna both post this video and the rest of them. I'm already working on uploading them as we speak. But so all the rest of our sessions and the demos from this one should be live today on the Collab Lab YouTube channel, which will be handy. That was an action item that I really wanted to take some accountability for myself. I didn't have access to the account until this week, so I have it now, and I will fix that. And as it goes for assigning new issues, I'd say let's get the ones we have merged in, but let's also make sure that we don't get out of Sunday territory without making sure folks know what the next thing in the pipeline is.
Yeah. I'll post a thread there with the issues for coming up. Manon, you'll be working with Arvin this week, so you will have a partner, which is good.
Okay.
And then I might have to pair with Jennifer depending on Ikram's schedule.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, are we going to be able to reschedule next week's meeting, Scott?
I would like to, yes.
Accommodate Ikram.
Yeah, absolutely. I should have rescheduled this week's. Just like I said, I was kind of completely useless this week. So that's my bad. But I will certainly make sure we get a new time on the books. I will send out the following things. Here's what I owe to you all. Thing number one is a retro board, and I'll start the thread on async retro. Thing number two is a doodle for a revised schedule. And thing number three is I will be uploading all the videos to YouTube, and so people will be able to catch up on what's happened for the last few syncs, including Ikram. I feel like that'll be really valuable for her.
Yeah, I agree. Awesome.
Cool.
Thanks, Scott. And I'll be sending out issues and kind of assigning those here in a couple of minutes as well, Manon. So
fantastic.
Hang tight. And Manon, if you do find yourself with some issues with the code, that is, let me know, and I can try to troubleshoot with you. But maybe share them in the TCL 33 chat, especially if you are still running into that build issue, and maybe we can all kind of help you debug it together potentially.
Yeah, I did put it in yesterday, and I think April and Arvin were trying to help, but I still did get stuck. So if somebody could, if they can hop on just for a little bit, just to kind of get through that, because I'm really confused as to what's happening there. That would be great.
Do you have time right now, or are you?
I do.
Okay, we can take a couple minutes right now if that's
cool.
Okay with you.
Should we maintain a recording for this, do you think, or should we cut it here?
We can definitely cut it here. Manon and I could even split off on our own thing, Scott, if you have something to do, or unless you want to hang out. That's cool too.
I'm pretty useless at actual JS stuff, so I'll stop the recording here.